I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of September 5th, 2017. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Boyson. Councilmember Cordero.
Here.
Councilmember Moats.
Here.
Councilmember Waterfield. Here. Madam Mayor Patino.
Here. The first item on our agenda is a proclamation, and Councilmember Cordero will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas ovarian cancer is a serious threat to women's health, and whereas, according to the American Cancer Society, ovarian cancer is the 5th most common cause of fatal cancer in the United States, and whereas, unfortunately, many women who suffer from this cancer are not diagnosed until it has been too late and the cancer is very advanced. Because there is no early screening tests and symptoms may be easily confused with other ailments. And whereas increased awareness of the symptoms and risk factors of ovarian cancer will enhance chances of early detection and thereby survival from that disease. And whereas ovarian cancer research will continue to help develop reliable diagnosis, better therapies, and prevention strategies to prevent this disease, and whereas through public awareness, the City of Santa Maria seeks to minimize the devastating effects of ovarian cancer. Now, therefore, Alice Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby recognizes September 2017 as National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Santa Maria and urges residents and businesses of the city to support efforts raising awareness about ovarian cancer. In witness whereof, Alice Patino has signed her name and the Great Seal of the City of Santa Maria affixed on this 5th day of September 2017. And here to receive this, someone here to receive it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It should be Christina Cinco.
Oh, in great big letters. Christine Martin Cinco. Now her name's Cinco. Thank you very much. Here you go.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, city officials, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be here again, accepting the proclamation on behalf of the Teal Journey Ovarian Cancer Foundation and all the women who are battling the disease, women who are survivors, and of course those who have lost the disease, lost their fight with the disease. As you heard before, ovarian cancer is the deadliest of the gynecological cancers. It's the 5th leading cause of death in women, cancer deaths. 22,000 women will be diagnosed this year, and 14,000 of them will lose their lives. It's rare. Only 1 in 75 women will be diagnosed with this disease. However, there is no diagnostic tool, and that's why awareness is so important. So our organization is working with the community and Mission Hope and all of the communities along the Central Coast to educate women and empower them and let them know that they need to ask their healthcare providers for some testing, they need to get second opinions, and that every bit of knowledge that they have is power. So again, I'd like to thank the City of Santa Maria. I have some shopping totes for Madam Mayor and all the members of the City Council. And I'd also like to thank Mary at the library. We again this year have a display case awareness on ovarian cancer at the library, and I think it's our 4th year that we've been doing this. So we are very gracious about that, and we're very excited about it. The community can go in there and see our display case, and we appreciate this very much. Thank you.
And Christina, I would like to thank you very much also for all the work you do, because it takes people like you in our community to get it done.
I thank all of you. You support the cause.
It's amazing. You're always there.
And many people in the city attend our events, and that really means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is another proclamation, and Councilmember Moats will be making the presentation.
And this proclamation will be recognizing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas more than 10,000 new cases of cancer will be diagnosed among children under 15 years of age in the United States, and whereas the most common childhood cancers are leukemia, brain and central nervous system tumors, and lymphoma, accounting for more than half of all cancers diagnosed in children, and whereas the cause of most pediatric cancers remain largely unknown, and whereas the 5-year survival rate for all childhood cancers has climbed from less than 50% to 80% for children and adolescents under the age of 21 as a result of clinical trials over the last 4 decades. And whereas families, caregivers, charities, and research groups across the United States observe September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to spotlight pediatric cancer and survivor programs and raise awareness and necessary funds for research and family support. And whereas it is appropriate to remember the young lives taken too soon and their families. Now, Alice Patino, Mayor of Santa Maria, hereby recognizes September 2017 as National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Santa Maria, and urge residents and businesses of the city to support efforts raising awareness about pediatric cancer. And the proclamation is to be accepted by Karis Tomoloso. I pronounced that right? Now, Karis is 13 years old, and she's an 8th grader who attends Lakeview Junior High School. She is also an amazing young woman with incredible spirit. In October 2016, she was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin lymphoma. She underwent 6 rounds of chemotherapy. Her treatment ended in February of this year. It was successful, and her life began to return to normal. She started attending her classes at her school again, played softball, even made the 12U All-Star Team Extreme. During a routine checkup on June 27, a blood test came back abnormal. As a result, Karis had to undergo another bone marrow test and spinal tap. A few days later, and within 5 months of being cancer-free, she became one of only a handful of cancer patients nationwide, children and adults, to ever be diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia after previous treatment for a different cancer diagnosis. Even with this latest setback, Karis is demonstrating the same desire to fight and remain positive that she did when she overcame Hodgkin's lymphoma. She is a fighter, a warrior, and a true hero to anyone who meets her.
My name is Jennifer Tomoloso. I'm Karis's mom. And we just want to thank you for thinking of her to be the person to accept the proclamation for the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We have several fundraisers going on that we'd like to post about if it's okay to leave some flyers with you. But most of all, we just want to thank everybody that's come out and supported us and supported my daughter through her fight. So thank you, everyone.
Also, if you'd like to just send those to the city, and then we can get them and then take them out into our personal email also and get them out to other people that we know. Thank you very much. And Karis, thank you so much for being here tonight. The next item on our agenda is the first public comment period of the evening. We will have a second public comment period later in the meeting. City Attorney, Mr. Trujillo, could you please explain the difference between the public comment period and the one we will be holding later during the meeting?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening. The first public comment period will be a normal public comment period, which means any member of the public may speak on any item on the consent agenda or not on the agenda to inform the council of any issues in the community. The second public comment period at the end of the meeting will be provided to allow members of the public who are unable to attend at the 5:30 start time the opportunity to speak only on matters not on the agenda. And that is to give the public the opportunity to inform the council of any issues in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trujillo. Madam Clerk, could you please read the criteria for the public comment portion of this agenda?
This time is reserved to accept comments from the public on consent agenda items, closed session items, or matters not otherwise on the scheduled agenda this evening. Unless otherwise directed by the mayor, speakers will have 3 minutes to comment. Direction to staff may be given. However, state law does not allow action to be taken by the city council on matters not on the printed agenda. Once the public comment period commences, no other speakers will be allowed to submit a request to speak form. And Madam Mayor, we have four requests.
Thank you. Okay, no other requests to speak forms will be accepted at this time. So let's see. Sarah McDonald, followed by Ernest Armenta, followed by Connie Logman, followed by Hans Deuce. Good evening, Ms. McDonald.
Good evening. I'm Sarah MacDonald. I'm a longtime resident of Santa Maria, and I'm not happy. The silence is deafening when we don't hear your voice or speak out about hatred, bigotry, and racism and the events at Charlottesville and the like. The silence is deafening when you fail to show up at Santa Maria's first Gay Pride celebration and show your support for the LGBTQIA community. Congressman Salud Carbajal was there, and a representative from Joan Hartman's office was there. Where were you? So the silence is deafening when you don't show up at vigils and rallies for peace and justice to stop hatred in our communities and throughout the nation. Are you going to be silent and not support the dreamers who live in our community? Remember the words of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. Please raise your voices and add your presence to events. Your constituents are listening and watching. Thank you.
Ms. McDonald, I did make a comment here on this dais about Charlottesville.
Okay.
And at the time of the Gay Pride, and I was invited, I had to go and see my 98-year-old mother.
Okay.
So I have been out there.
Okay.
But thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Ernest Armenta, followed by Connie Logman, followed by Hans Deuce.
I'm Ernest Armenta, City of Santa Maria. I wanted to come up and speak, man, my usual way but I just feel uncomfortable. You know, we had this young lady come with all her. I think about all the issues we complain about, we're always, at least how we're having a hard time making ends meet. How we look to the city, you are elected officials, and you have, Mr. Cordero, Mr. Moats, Mrs. Waterfield, and Mr. Boyson, and it's tough to come up here and with this young lady here and to tell you that you have nothing to offer us the burned out voters. We really, if there was election tomorrow, I believe that none of you, 4 of you that I mentioned, would be able to get elected again. But I have to come up and speak. I have to come up and say that we're not satisfied with our representative. Not even satisfied, we're just not pleased. We don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. But then that ain't nothing compared to other people that are in this room going to worse things. So I would say this, Mr. Hayden made it very clear that we were in a financial hardship. I explained that we had to dissolve the two-tier system. We have 40% of the workforce that have nobody to turn to. They can't turn to Etta Waterfield to be treated fairly. They can't even turn to their own association, their own union, because their own union is an active participant in this unfair business practice. This two-tier system has to, Ms. Patino, we don't need to wait for the state. 3 of you, all you have to do is let us decide, put it on the ballot. Let us, the voters, decide to dissolve the two-tier system. And we'll make it very easy for you folks. And if the associations want to battle it, the unions, hey, they can come up and they can put their opposition to it or take us to court. But we're done. Everybody's going to be treated fairly in the city when it comes to employees. Second, should the city attorney's office be an elected position? I believe that the city attorney is a prisoner. I believe the city manager is a prisoner. They can't speak exactly the way they feel about the direction the city's going. So I think it's time for us to make the city attorney's office an elected position. That means there are a couple of benefits, yellow lights blinking. That means that city attorney will have to reside here in the city of Santa Maria, which is a benefit. That means that city attorney would have to buy a home here in the city of Santa Maria. That means that city attorney will now pay property taxes like the rest of us. That means that city attorney will now have a water bill just like the rest of us. Mrs. Patino, I'll wait for the next meeting and to really, so I can really
Thank you very much, Mr.
give it to
Armenta.
the city council. Thank you.
Connie Logman, followed by Hans. Am I pronouncing your name right?
It's Logman.
Logman,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much for having us and giving us a few moments to, my vision for the last 8 years, to make this real brief, has been, came from when I was doing missionary work in Thailand, and I met young women that had been sexually trafficked and tortured. And it's been on my mind for 8 years, and it's finally coming to fruition. God has put it on my heart to move. And I'm here to plea to the city. We'd like to get more acquainted with you guys and talk about it. We have now almost filed our 501c, and we'll be looking for land and donors, of course. This is going to happen. We do not have anything, safe house, long-term safe house, on the Central Coast. We have a lot of stopovers, 2 days, a week or two. This is not enough. These young women need a chance to tell their story. And they need a chance to come and be and learn life skills on how to be a woman again without being tortured on top of it and being told lies. It's been my vision for a long time, and I need the city's help. I don't know, I'm asking that you give me some help here and let me know who I need to see. We've been very fortunate, God has been very good to us so far, and we need to see this happen. I am going to see and my staff is going to see that this happens on the Central Coast, out of the city limits. A safe house that is going to be not publicly advertised, where they can come and get psychotherapy, they can come and get, if they don't have their GED or their high school diploma, we have people that'll come in and teach them on how to get that, academic trips to life skills, goals, and many other things. And at the end, our prayers for them will be that they become the women that they're supposed to be, that they should have been in the first place, without all this other. This is a monumental feat, I know that, but I know that God's ahead. I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. And you know, it's an issue that I know Ms. Waterfield and I have discussed. I've been to a couple of meetings on this. I have been invited up to Northern California next month to a meeting on this. So, and I had, probably a couple of years ago, I'd asked Chief Martin to make sure that we had some of our policemen trained in this also. So I'll be contacting you and let you know what we're doing in the city. And thank you very much for coming forward. You're an angel. Thank you. Mr. Hans Deuce, welcome. Mr. Deuce. Mr. Deuce has been a council member in Solvang, so we welcome you to our meeting tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I'm a former member of Solvang Council now. So thank you, Madam Mayor, council members, staff. I'm a resident of Santa Maria now for, I guess about the last couple of weeks. And I read with interest an article in the Santa Maria Times last week about the youth violence task force has been put together here. I have been on the advisory board for the welding department over at Hancock for about 30-some years. And a number of years ago, we put together, we got a grant, and we put a day camp program together for junior high kids. They'd come in for about 4 hours in the morning. It lasted for a couple of weeks. What it was an introduction into metalworking. They got to make little projects. They got to learn how to weld. But the gratifying thing about it was a few years later at our high school welding competition, we saw some of these kids coming through. They'd been introduced. They had taken welding classes in high school. They were gaining proficiency. A couple years later, we see them in our programs, our welding programs at Hancock. Today, we're seeing a few of them out in the field working. As far as I'm concerned, the youth violence, the gangs, start at a young age. They need hope. They need a future. And vocational education is something that can give them that. They can give them some purpose. They know they're not college bound. They know they can't afford it. They think they're not smart enough. Many of them do. But if they're introduced to vocational education early, which can happen, they can flourish. They can learn practical rather than theoretical, and they can really flourish. I've seen it myself. So I think rather than we'll spend millions of dollars on jails, but if we could spend a fraction of that, reaching out to these 6th, 7th, 8th graders and give them a future. I know Hancock, it's not a government thing, it's not education or social services, it's all of us together, including industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deuce. And you're welcome to our next meeting. It'll be September 18th, and at, I think it's 1:30, isn't it? Okay, and is it going to be at the Shepherd Hall, or? Well, we've got your contact information. We'll let you know, and you're welcome to come. Thank you very much. Before we move on, Mr. Stilwell, do you have any comments at all? Okay. Moving on to the consent calendar, Madam Clerk, could you please read item number 3?
Routine items are presented for City Council approval without discussion as a single agenda item in order to expedite the meeting. The consent calendar is approved by roll call vote with one motion. These items are discussed only on the request of council members.
Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion? No? Good. Okay. Okay, I have a motion to approve the consent calendar. Do I have a second? Hearing the motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Waterfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Moats? Councilmember Cordero?
Yes.
Madam Mayor Patino?
Yes. The next order of business is an appointment. Madam Clerk, could you please read the title?
The City Council will consider making one appointment to the Block Grants Advisory Committee.
Okay. Do we have any requests to speak?
No, we have no requests.
Mr. Armento?
We're going to start into city. I don't know any of the applicants. I never met them. I haven't spoke to any of them. But I reviewed, I know there's one position open, right, Ms. Patino, Madam Chair?
Correct.
And so I went over the applications, and they all seem to know their stuff. But I'm going to, my recommendation would be for Steve Lopez from the city of Santa Maria. He's the treasurer for 5 years of the St. Mary's Church right here. His supporters are John Everett, Rosalie Marquez, and Roger Brown. All appear to be from the city of Santa Maria, so that would be my recommendation. But you guys, just since I'm going to be representing all of us, the city on the block grant, and making decisions what is best for us, so I forgot to put my input on here since no one else is here. Since the council, there's only a few people here again. We're here at 5:30, trying to get some more participation, and I'm going to participate.
Thank you, Mr. Armento. Councilmember Waterfield, do you have a nomination?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I'm really excited about my nomination. This lady is very educated, but not only with what she has done in the past, Miss Georgina Duran-Kahn, she's also had 13 years experience in submitting, implementing, and overseeing grants. And this is the majority of what the block grants purpose is for the city of Santa Maria. And her multi-million-dollar grants that she submitted for the Santa Barbara Regional Narcotics Enforcement Team really excites me. She understands them. She knows exactly who's requesting them, what is going to be the need to understand and continue to go on with that. So I do want to nominate Georgina Duran-Kahn for this. And that would be my motion.
Okay, I accept the nomination and the motion. Is there a second?
Madam Mayor, I'll second that if I can make a comment on Ms. Kahn.
Yes, you may.
I worked with Georgina for several years in her profession before she retired, and I think you're going to have to go quite a ways to find a more professional person than Georgina Kahn.
I would agree with you. I've known Ms. Kahn for several years.
And Ms. Kahn is present.
And she is. Would you please stand up, Ms. Kahn? Thank you very much for being willing to serve.
Absolutely. Is there anything you would like to address the dais?
Well, I just wanted to say to Madam Mayor and council members, especially Ms. Waterfield, for having confidence in my ability.
Could you could we just have you move over to the microphone? Thank you.
Yes, I would just like to thank Madam Mayor, the council members, especially Ms. Waterfield, for having confidence in my ability to serve the citizens of the Santa Maria area. I have 30 years' experience in working in various, county government. And as you mentioned, I do have a lot of experience in grants, and so this particular committee was of interest to me. So I look forward to working with the other community members and recommending the best that we can for the people of Santa Maria.
Mrs. Khan, thank you so very much.
Thank you. So I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Waterfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Cordero?
Yes.
Councilmember Moats? Madam Mayor Patino?
Yes. Okay, the next order of business is a public hearing. Madam Clerk, could you please read the title?
The City Council will consider amending the Santa Maria Municipal Code to include recent laws enacted by the State of California regarding massage establishments.
Okay. The public hearing item is being continued to the October 17th meeting, so staff has an opportunity to hold another workshop with massage therapists and then fully vet suggested revisions to the massage ordinance made by massage businesses. The next item on our agenda is the second public comment period. Madam Clerk, could you please read the criteria for the second comment period?
This time is reserved to accept comments from the public on matters not otherwise scheduled on the agenda this evening. Unless otherwise directed by the mayor, speakers will have 3 minutes to comment. Direction to staff may be given. However, state law does not allow action to be taken by the City Council on matters not on the printed agenda. Once the public comment period commences, no other speakers will be allowed to submit a request to speak form.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do you have any additional speakers this evening?
Not at this time.
No request to speak forms will be accepted. Mr. Armenta?
I want to see if Mr. Trujillo can give the clarification again.
Certainly.
I don't know anything else. I just need for him to make it very clear just repeat it again. And
Thank you. Thank you, we will do that. Mr. Trujillo?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The second public comment period is to allow members of the public who are unable to be here at 5:30 the opportunity to address the council on matters not on the agenda. It is not a second opportunity for members of the public to make public comments.
Thank you. Okay, this concludes the public comment portion of the agenda. The next item will be a report by our Assistant City Manager, Mr. Stilwell.
Thank you, Mayor Patino, members of the council. The next council meeting is 2 weeks from tonight on September 19th. The primary agenda item would be the update the year-end reports from the Chamber of Commerce about the Economic Development Commission visitors in Conference Bureau and the Tourist Improvement District and the activity they've had over the last year. And then the October 3rd meeting, we are scheduled to have a hearing on the Public Art Master Plan. That concludes my report.
Thank you. The next item will be the oral reports of council members, and Mr. Cordero, we can start with you.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 21st of August, I attended a dinner at the Boys and Girls Club for the first 5, and I was in a discussion. I was really impressed with the delivery of Mr. Is it Ramon? Ramon? From first 5. Anyways, I learned so much in that brief time about how sophisticated the analysis is now for young children and how to recognize certain things that are going on in their lives and helping to try to mitigate those problems before they get any worse. I thought the meeting was well attended. Edwin Weaver was there and was also quite a speaker. And I was just really impressed by those people that put so much of their time in to work on these children. And the results, we don't expect to see the results from these things until they're 16, 17, 22 years old. So they're reaching way out into the future, which I think is ultimately where we'll be going as well, Madam Mayor, with regard to the issue on violence. On the 26th, I attended the Joe White Memorial at the Elks, which was a great event. It was community supported, and an impressive group of community leaders were there to assist in making money for the Allen Hancock College, or raising money. On the 29th, I went to the Congressional Town Hall meeting up in San Luis Obispo regarding the decommissioning of Diablo, and Salud Carbajal called the meeting, Congressman Salud Carbajal called the meeting. That was also an impressive meeting. I didn't realize how much they would be going through in order to decom this facility. I've been to several tours of the facility, and I was always impressed with the redundancy of taking care of possible problems and how they police their organization and their progress. They're reaching out to shut this facility down, I think in 2025. And I was impressed with the people that were there. The people speak. There were obviously some people there to ask them that they shut the facility down tomorrow. But there were many others that were there in support of the facility. There's a lot of thought going into it and why the facility is being shut down because of new technologies that perhaps nuclear power has just outlived itself now, and they're hoping for other innovative people to pick up the slack with the power they won't be producing from nuclear power. And on, that would be it. I can't report on the 6th until the next time.
Okay. Dr. Moats.
On August 26th, I also went to the Joe White Allen Hancock fundraiser, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Ms. Waterfield.
On Saturday, August 26th, I participated in Serve Santa Maria, and I worked at the Veterans Hall. I dug 3 holes. We dug 3 holes, and those were pretty tough holes to dig. I know I don't want to be a hole digger, that's for sure. But it was great. I loved it. I also attended the Joe White fundraiser. And then on Sunday, the 27th, I attended Marion Hospital fundraiser as well. Tuesday, August 29th, I participated in an August policy pew call at the attorney's office, and that was in regards to the opioid epidemic that we are having in this country, and it's just a tough situation that a lot of people are in. On Thursday, August 31st, I attended the AmeriCorps Partnership graduation in San Ynez, and that was for a great group of people in regards to combating homelessness. And we all know, that situation. And I'm looking over at the Salvation Army team, and they understand. They participate, and they're doing a great job with feeding the homeless. Later that evening, I went to Santa Maria High School back to school night, and got to meet and see a lot of the kids, meet with the parents and the principal, and talk to them about what their hopes and dreams were for their children, and that was very nice. So I believe that was it.
Thank you. August 16th, I met with representatives of Central Coast Motorsports. Later that day, I met with the Balderas family, regarding boxing, and they want to bring a boxing event here with Carlos Balderas. August 17th, I attended SBCAG, my monthly board meeting. On the 23rd, I attended a follow-up meeting to the CADCA conference that we went to with 6 of our youth, and that's regarding alcohol and drugs. August 26th, went to Serve Santa Maria. I didn't do as much digging, but I did learn how to take... you were asking if I work for Caltrans. I did take a tree out and put it in the planter. They did not soak the ground real well for us, or else they gave us the hardest ground. Which brings me to the point when I said I think we have one auger to do the digging. I guess that's on our wish list. Another auger to do the holes. We were done so fast, and I guess they were done really fast out at Presker Park.
I love the way she uses we.
Me and 500 other people there, and they needed other people out at Presker, and people are willing to move around and get the job done. So as soon as Pastor Nielsen has all of his information, he'll be here to give us a report. August 29th, I also was with the phone call for the Pew Committee on the opiate addiction that we have in our country. I attended the Supervisor Joan Hartman's North County office grand opening. Unfortunately, she was still in closed session when a lot of her constituents were there, so I think there's probably a few people left when she came out. I attended the World 1-1 Games ribbon cutting. August 30th, SEIU had a local 620 had their barbecue for the city here at Shepherd Hall. August 31st, I had a conference call with the mayor of Paso Robles and the city manager. Went to a ribbon cutting for That's Fetch, which is like, I guess, a boutique for animals. They have the little things you carry animals with. They have all kinds of things in there for small, sweet, little animals. I have a big dog, so this, I guess I don't think he would be interested in any of this. But anyway, there was a lot of people there with their dogs and their cats. Went to Santa Maria, back to school night at Santa Maria High School, went to back to school night at Pioneer High School, talked to parents about our youth task force. September 1st, went to the mayor's and city manager's meeting in Solvang. Later that afternoon, I did the Rockin' Jump perform. We did a ribbon cutting that was in the mall, which has all kinds of trampolines, and it's just really amazing. I just thought it was just the round trampoline that we had back when we were in school. But this has all kinds of activities with trampolines. They have rooms there so you can have birthday parties for the kids, and I guess adults too. This morning I did the Ben Hayes radio show. I'm thinking rodeo. Attended Rotary, and that is it. Any other things, any else from the dais?
Mentioned, Madam Mayor, I too was at the graduation for the AmeriCorps, also an impressive group of people, a couple of real tearjerkers that were there that kind of showed how they had received some help and lifted themselves up from being homeless, etc., and are now working and paying taxes.
That's wonderful. If there is no other business, the meeting is adjourned.